Well, my clock is ticking. Oh, good, the mic's on. Hi, everyone. My name is Rob Neesmith, and yes, I get to go to the Giants game. I hope there's not too much negativity about that. Anyway, I work for a company called datasift. I run a function called client services, and basically I'm responsible for the product experience that our customers have. So everything from their pre-sales experience to support, consulting, and customer success. And today I'm here to talk about what human data can do for you. And there's going to be probably a couple different groups in this sections of this area here, because there's going to be some of you that are going to be really interested in this and may want to integrate this sort of solution into a product you're building, and there's going to be others of you that are going to say this is really neat and cool, but it may not be relevant to the business that you may be involved with or building. Okay, but I suppose the first question that I should sort of address is what is human data, and so. At datasift, we think about human data as three different things. We think about that as social data, and that was what I was on the agenda for, was social data, and that's certainly part of our world. So things like Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Tumblr. Okay, and then we also think about blogs and more traditional news-based forums, and so what is the information there that we might want to leverage. And then there's also data inside your business, inside your partner's business you may have access to, and all this data shares a common thing relevant to us, is it's all got text, and what datasift enables you to do, is we'll see here, is to work with this data and integrate that and leverage it in your business. And I think this is a pretty sophisticated crowd, but my marketing department demanded that I show something here on the slide deck. I'm going to actually do mostly demoing here. The thing about this data, particularly that kind of social data, is it's very varied in terms of the format of that data. It comes at you at enormous volumes at times. Twitter alone is about 500 million tweets a day, and so the velocity of that. And so, like, how do you even incorporate that into your business? Okay. And so, ultimately also, there's just very unstructured, and as we think about businesses, we typically want to put that data and put a structure to it. And so that then leads us then to datasift and how we sort of look at this, right? If we start at the bottom of this slide and working up, right, we've got these different types of, data sets that we just described. And what datasift does is it really unifies that data into a single solution, okay? So we have both leveraging public APIs, as well as have special relationships with some of our vendors where we're able to tap into their data sources and bring that into a solution, okay? And so we bring that in real time. We also do a historical store, so you could do research on the data, and then we do some normalization of the data. Right, and then from there, then how do I unlock this? I don't know any business that probably wants 500 million tweets for the most part, or however many millions of Facebook posts, et cetera, et cetera. And so we certainly need to be able to reduce that down. It also comes in not a very usable format. You don't know if it's a male or female posting. You don't know if there's posts about Nike or Adidas or various brands in there. It's in the content, but how would you report on that and provide metrics on that and kind of information? And so there's an effort there to then unlock that. And then once you've sort of unlocked that, then how do you leverage that, right? How do I integrate that maybe into a business you're building? How do I put that in an application? And how do I work through whatever use cases are really relevant to the customer experience you might want to be delivering? All right, and so that's it for slides. And so from here, I'm going to do a demonstration. And really what this demonstration is going to be focused on, I just picked this topic we probably could all relate with. And so I'm going to take a look at Uber versus Lyft. I just picked two topics that we'd all know, right? But I don't know if we have time here. I got only a couple of minutes, but we could pick another topic too. It really doesn't matter. And so I'm going to use this topic as a vehicle to kind of explore the platform with you guys and ladies. All right? So hopefully here, looks like my browser got shut down. So I'm going to navigate to our website here, and I'm going to log on. And I'm going to just go straight to log on, but if any of you, I'll probably go too fast for you actually to follow along. But if you want to recreate this experience, what you can do is you can come in here and register for an account, and we'll give you some free credits to experience the platform. Oh, sure, great, thanks. So we'll give you a few credits that you can that you can leverage to, see what the platform experience looks like. And okay, cool. Make this a little bigger. But we'll skip that. I do have an account. I know that's a big surprise. Hope that works. And then let's make it a little bigger. I'm getting old. I can't see that small. Okay, so so this is our website. Obviously, it's a SaaS-based solution. This is the UI, and I'll work through the UI because that's an easy way for you to show you how to do this. But for those of you that are thinking about, I don't really want to integrate this UI into your world, that's fine. Everything I'm doing here on stage using the UI can be done through the API layer, so no problem there whatsoever. And so the first thing you might want to do is you want to actually sort of pick your data sources. And so, we, like I said, we work with public APIs as well as have private relationships with various vendors, and so I'll just kind of scroll through here. And so what you do is you would, this is going to be interesting, you would essentially activate any of the data sources that you're interested in. So Chinese language content like Sina Weibo or Tencent Weibo, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, LexisNexis, which is a news aggregator, NewsCred, which is another news aggregator. And you would just click the button, sign the terms of service, and then you would have access to that data through the platform. Okay? And then so from there, what you've said is, hey, these are data sources that I might want to integrate into my business. And so what you need to do is you really need to figure out which of that data is really relevant to you. And so we have a concept of streams. If you think about all that data getting created out there in the social space and the news space, and think that as a river, what we're doing is saying, hey, a subset of that data is interesting to me, and how do I parameterize and define that? Okay, so I'll go in here and create a new stream and give that a name. Call it launch, and then from here I get to choose. Okay, there's three ways really to do this. There's the query builder, which is a UI-based experience. I'll start there. It's a open source. It can be integrated into your solutions. It can be skinned to make it look like you want it to look like. And what it does is enables you to parameterize into our platform. There's also a code editor. So this is the technology track. So I will type some code here, although not too much, and show you the power there with the code editor. It's for more advanced users or for users who are really just comfortable typing code. And then again, not going to show that to you today, but you could definitely leverage the API layer to do everything I'm doing. All right? And for those of you that are on Twitter or can publicly post on Facebook or Tumblr, get ready, because if you want to see your tweet up here on the screen, it can happen. So, this is all going to be in real time, and I will warn anyone here at some point that we will see content being created out there in the social space in real time, and we don't always know what that's going to be. So there could be swear words, there could be really all sorts of things sometimes is what it is, okay? And so what I do is I create a filter, and so what the platform does is it brings me to a screen where I'm able to choose what the data sources are. And so as I click and move through these data sources, you'll see that the underlying icons change, and what those represent are either fields or logical groups of fields. And so as I click down in, I may see further information or a way to start parameterizing. And so what I do is I can go and look at any of the rich metadata layers that these data sources provide, and I can basically parameterize on any of those. Okay, so I'm going to scroll across here. Of course, I've got them all activated because it's my job. But here's Facebook is a classic one, of course, or Twitter, and then within Twitter there's user fields. And within the user field, there's sort of all different user logical group. There's all sorts of fields there related to the user. So I could parameterize on age or language or location or other ID. Okay. I mentioned that we do some enrichments to the data before it comes in, and one of them is a normalization layer, because news has content, Tumblrs have content, Facebook has posts, Twitter has tweets, and they all have different names, and so you could hit them individually, or you come to these normalized tables and search across them broadly. And so I can come in here and say, hey, I want to look at all the data sources I have, and I want to look in the content field, and then from here I want to actually parameterize on Uber and Lyft, and so I've done that, okay? And so then what I can do, sort of just show you some other tricks here. This thing is, okay, it scrolls the opposite of my Mac. which is awesome. Okay, so these are different operators that you can use. I'm not going to build any regular expressions for you today, but certainly you can do pattern recognition, wildcard-based searches, near-based functions, substrings, lots of power here. These are available essentially on every single field in the solution. But we'll keep it simple for now, and we'll just say, hey, I'm looking for posts that include Lyft and Uber. I warned you guys if you wanted to see your post up on the screen here today, you could do it. We're getting really close, so get ready. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close that. And then what I'm going to do here in 1 second is I'm going to start showing you live this information. Just want to pause here for a minute. I could also look at this information in historical perspective. I could go back and say, hey, for a certain period of time, where were posts that met these parameters? Okay, but we're going to look live because it's faster and it's a whole lot more fun when I'm up here on the stage. All right, so boom, there you go. Start, if you really want to see your name up here, go ahead. And so what this do is it's going to spawn up and it's going to start returning data based on my parameters. All right, so somewhere in there, I can probably look easier here, we're going to see, Uber, right? There's an Uber post, and it's going to literally stream at me based on what's happening out there in the social sphere. Okay, and so far we've got some tweets. If I leave it on there a little longer, there was a little Wikipedia post, Facebook, and I'm just going to pause here for a second and talk a little about what we have on screen here. So again, real time. I put this information in, and it returned the results. And then what you actually get here is then a JSON object that would come out of the API that you could integrate into your solution. And so what you get is all the original fields from, in this case, Twitter. So if it's a retweet, you get retweet fields. If it's an original tweet, you get tweet fields. We do some salience on that. That's added by the platform. We unravel the links. So if there's a link included, you can actually see the original URL. That's a searchable field. Clout score, because it's Twitter, some demographic information, and then these, and then these normalized fields. All right, so I'm looking at my time. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm going to run out here. And so let's close this down. This can get a lot more complex, and it can get a lot more complex sort of as you need to meet your business needs, okay? So I'm actually going to go back here, and I built a bit more complex stream so that we could take a look at that, and so in case I ran out of time to type, which is what's happening here. And so what this is really the code underneath that UI that I can kind of hammer out here. And so what it does is it says, and if you start actually here at the return statement, it says, hey, I want to return data when I see content that has Uber or Lyft in it, or if someone shares a link that has Uber and Lyft in it, and it's in English, and the interaction type is Twitter. In this case, this was limited to just Twitter. And then there's a not function that says, I don't really want to know about promo information or anything like that. Okay, totally up to you which fields you hit, how many Boolean logic strings you put in there. There's really an unlimited amount of that. And then there's a tag up top here, and these are basically saying, hey, tag the post if it's Uber, tag the post if it's Lyft, tag the post if it's Surge is in the post, tag the post if it's got a prime time in the post. And I added this last night when I saw the Ebola person, the doctor in New York had been in an Uber, and so I thought I'd throw a tag on there for Ebola. There's also one I grayed out here. This one actually is like even more advanced. Not enough time to sort of talk too much about it, but I'm going to go ahead and save it, and then I'm going to put this into preview, and we'll see what the results are. Okay, and so we just did a more specific search. We put some tags on it, and so we'll then get some results. All right, and so I'm going to just go ahead and pause this. And so what you can see here is on this particular tweet, we got lots of other information that I didn't get before. I got a flag saying this was Uber. All right, I got a topic saying this was there was a delay, so someone had a delay in their post. And then here, I incorporated, and again, I didn't have a chance to kind of explain it all, but I incorporated a machine learning algorithm result that then let me measure whether the post was an urgent post, whether someone was giving feedback, a lead. It wasn't necessarily tuned to the content here, but it's the idea of you can take this very unstructured data world across a broad number of data sets, and you can take our enriched data, filter it down to what's relevant to you. You can even measure in things like intent, and then you could put that into your application. And so ultimately, all of our data sources are compliant. So as long as you're working within the terms of service, this is a way for you to literally at scale integrate this kind of information into your solutions or your business as needed. So that's what I got. Cool? Awesome.
So there weren't any specific questions about like how does it work, because I think it's like here's the thing, here's how it works.
Yeah.
There's no question. I mean, it's pretty interesting what it pulls in and how it works. I think people are thinking of the sinister ways in which they would use it. They're, talking, I have a weekend project. I'm going to build this thing that lets me. It's sort of like marketing espionage. So that was extremely fascinating. Oh, and then so there we go. 2 questions flew in at the end. First one is, what does it cost?
Yeah, so there's a pay-as-you-go model where you can pay by credit, and there's really 2 components to cost. There's the sort of complexity of the questions you're asking and the number of questions you're asking, and then the data results. Some data sources are free, some data sources charge, and we basically pass through those costs. And so Twitter's 10 cents a 1,000 tweets. As you get to more advanced and leverage us more, there's subscription models that obviously give you discounts. So the way to think of it is a sort of a cell phone. You can do pay-as-you-go, or you can do that based on a subscription. And the starting you can put $10 in and start and leverage it. And so depends on your use case. Unfortunately, is the answer.
Right. And so then the follow-up question was the use cases for consumer internet companies. Are there any startups we've heard of that you can mention that, hey, they're a customer that uses to power this part of their service, or can you just talk about some of the kinds of use cases for probably using it? This is an API to power some hackathon project that gets funded.
Yeah. So we have literally hundreds of customers out there that leverage us, and the way I describe it is we're the fuel for a lot of startups in terms of that want to leverage this data. So the classic use cases, social media monitoring companies, right? So the Hootsuites, the NetBases, the Sysomoses of the world, just to kind of name some bigger ones. But there are literally hundreds more of them out there that are taking this, adding their IP on top of it. Customer service use cases. There's lots of other use cases. For me personally, I joined datasift because I believe that this kind of data could really change the world in terms of there's all this customer information out there, and how you leverage that could really be a key differentiator. And I really think we're just on the really nascent stages of this market and how best to use this. So lots of energy in the market, lots of people doing creative things. I don't think all the answers are out there yet. I think there's still huge opportunity in this marketplace, and I've chosen to come in a certain area, not at the sort of application layer, but more at this platform layer. But those are some examples.
Great, and then just be sure to get that code, whatever that discount code was for the free billion queries.
You start right there when you log in. When you log in, you can create a code, and or you just log in. You get credit. You can go ahead and start playing. If you need more, my name's Rob Neesmith. I'm out there. You can ping me, and we'll have a conversation. And we do give extra credit. We do give additional credit to people who who are doing some interesting things. And we are not a we do want to make money, but certainly, to help figure out if this is the right thing for you, that's something we're very open to.
So it's not a secret. They can find it. Enjoy the game. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.